industry mapping document define the creative industries, among which it was specified that for the creative industry it is our wisdom, skills, talents, potential wealth generated by creative industry, individual job opportunities, and so on. Particularly for the younger generation, how to fulfill their potential. So it's wealth created by talent. The UK identified 13 sectors of creative industries, including advertising, art, antiques, crafts, design, fashion design, software design, film and video, interactive leisure software, music, performing arts, publishing, television, radio, etc. Altogether, 13 sectors. Of course, UK's definition of creative industry became a blueprint for research on creative industries worldwide and drew global attention. Decades later, the creative industry and economy has enjoyed great momentum and expanded in many spheres. Therefore, the creative industry is gathering wisdoms as an activity of production. It also gives rise to creative capital and extends to economic form and social organization driven by creativity. We have the creative economy and the so-called the creative class. Many of you joining us today who are engaged in creativity are able to, in economy and in capital and in society contribution, to expand and realize yourself's potential. That's what we call the creative class in many countries. Perhaps many of you are in this particular class. And the creative industry, according to my understanding, is centered on human wisdom to be integrated into the industry objects, which means, compared with some conventional notions, industry objects is a quite broad notion. Can be river, mountain, other geographical features, plants, animals, as well as carriers of wisdom such as books, films, and so on. It can be tangible, it can be intangible. Finless purpose, as previous speaker mentioned, transformed into something which is vivid, which embodies meaning and life, which can express our wisdom. Films, music, handicrafts, books, and so on. All these wisdoms could be expressed. So for the creative industry, according to my understanding, it's centered on human wisdom, integrating various elements as what I call objects of wisdom. And of course, today's creative industry or economy, based on conventional means, have expanded and integrated with other multiple factors, just like new wings, which are high-tech tools, AI, for example, and so on. enable our creative industry to fly higher with wings. So definitely, it's an area of great momentum with imagination, wisdom, vitality to discover the object of wisdom and through technological means, including AI and digital technology, animation and so on, to better express ourselves. A master in the field, Richard Florida, said that where there is creativity, there will be technological innovation, economic growth. I do concur with this notion. He also talked about that creative industries have become the most important source of wealth. Therefore, definitely, in today's world, it's still an important source of wealth. This picture is a picture when I was visiting an old castle, where the castle window was transformed into a display window for high fashion. An old building renewed. We saw a lot of that in European countries. Urban renewal, recreation, particularly industry creation, a new trend as well, enable the history to be seen in today's world. Getting back to the Yangtze River culture, I do think that Yangtze River culture can be a great source for creation. It's also offering ample space for creation. We have about 300 kilometers in terms of the Yangtze River, crossing about 11 provinces in China. There are a lot of cultures embodied here. From Hubei, from Sichuan to Yunnan, and so on. Creative industries or culture in the Yangtze River region can be dated back to ancient times. For example, a renowned Chinese poet, Su Dongpo, have long become a cultural IP, who wrote many poems to describe the landscape of Yangtze River. There are other cultural products as well, as you could see from these pictures. Dongpo braised pork, Dongpo pork knuckle, Dongpo Chibi red cleaves, and so on. Not only as local delicacies, but also cultural IPs. Other examples include Sichuan opera face changing, writing brushes, ink sticks, paper and ink stones, which are known as four features of ancient Chinese literaries. Today, in the new era, with new opportunities, advancing science technology, innovation has become a driving force for economy. How to integrate Yangtze River culture IP into the city's development? There are four aspects I'd like to propose. First, strive to discover the rich resources of Yangtze River culture. I do think the Yangtze River can definitely provide new values for recreative productions. Maybe 90% of the Yangtze River culture remain to be discovered. A lot of ancient streets, unique, diverse cultural events, both tangible and intangible heritage, famous figures, scenic sports, traditional handicrafts, traditional cuisine, music, performance, and so on, waiting to be unveiled. So I'd like to suggest that use your feet to walk along Yangtze River, to visit more places, to experience yourself, to find inspirations for creation. Second, use new technology and concepts in the Yangtze River cultural creation. For example, with the ecological conservation of the Yangtze River achieving great success, 10-year fishing ban of Yangtze River, and so on, we saw Yangtze finley porpoise numbers on the rise.
For larger projects, including the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River, there are all very good elements waiting to be explored in new ways. And in this picture, we can see the Tanghualing district in Wuhan is well developed, is very popular. So 7 days a week, it will be crowded with people, and mostly youth. But what about the picture down there? That was built in before the founding of the PRC. It was the first library in Hubei. It has a traditional Chinese-style roof, but the body is European. So it is a mixed style of Chinese and Western. Why am I showing this picture to you? Because it has been left unused for a long time. Nobody knows what should we do with it. So it's waiting to be developed. It can be another landmark of Wuhan's culture. So this is some food for thought for you. And thirdly, my third suggestion is using high-tech and other measures. So I will skip that for the interest of time. And the fourth one is that I believe that Yangtze River belongs to China, but also to the world. Therefore, its creative activity should have a global vision. We need to promote the Yangtze River to the world. And we should also bring the world's creators, ideas, and technologies into the Yangtze River. As a matter of fact, I think all major civilizations in the world can be fused with the Yangtze River culture. So today's occasion is a good opportunity in that we can gather with all the friends and experts from around the world to understand, to know about the Yangtze River, to understand it, to infuse yourself into the creative industry concerning the Yangtze River. And we can together bring it to a new height. With this, I will conclude my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Zhang Xiaoying. The creative economy is not only a form of cultural expression, but also an important engine in sustainable development. Next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Francis Nujagani, Director of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Development Center, to share his insights. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Distinguished guests, fellow leaders, and vibrant youth and creatives from across the world, good morning. Permit me first to start by thanking the All China Youth Federation and the organizers of this forum for the opportunity to address this august assembly. My address on creative economy and trendy culture will focus mainly on bridging China-Africa youth entrepreneurship, empowerment through data-driven roadmap for Africa-China youth entrepreneurs. Today we stand at a unique crossroads in global history where the primary driver of wealth is no longer just what is under our feet, but also what is in our heads. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development defines creative economy as the interface between creativity, culture, economics, and technology. It is an economic engine that is no longer peripheral, but central to global GDP, generating intellectual capital, driving jobs, and sparking innovation in creative services estimated at $1.4 trillion, or just about 19% of all global services exports. This sector is growing faster than traditional manufacturing or commodity trade. It is gaining prominence as a solid path to economic development in less developed countries, with their focus on culture and creativity as sources of job creation and innovative tools in the quest for sustainable development. When we fuse this creative economy with trendy culture, that is, that rapid digitally driven shift in how young people dress, dance, consume media, and communicate, we create an unstoppable economic force. Trendy culture is not a distraction or a pastime. It is a multi-billion-dollar global market shaped entirely by young people, those that we call today the Gen Z. Creative economy represents a massive paradigm shift. Your intellectual property, such as your code, your designs, your music, and your stories all make up the new global currency. For the entrepreneurs, it is a structural shift from traditional capital-heavy infrastructure toward digital platform-dependent scale. When we blend this commercial economic landscape with trendy culture, or that emotionally driven consumer habits of Gen Zs, we unlock an unstoppable, unprecedented bridge for Africa-China economic cooperation. So what are the shared youth demographics between China and Africa? China and Africa share a vital demographic reality, and that is the youth, the power of the youth. Africa possesses the youngest population in the world, with over 60% of its people under the age of 25, while China boasts a highly digitally native, tech-savvy Gen Z population. As traditional corporate structure shifts, young people in both China and Africa are abandoning old templates of employment. Instead, they are embracing digital content creation, freelancing, and cultural entrepreneurship to build independent livelihoods. Let us take a few examples of trendy culture. When I was growing up as a child, we watched movies, Chinese movies with great actors like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and many others. But today, look at what is happening on our streets and on our screens. We see a beautiful blend of trends. From Africa, for instance, the world is dancing to music beats like Amapiano and Afrobeats, with stars like Davido, Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Tiwa Savage. African fashion designers are blending traditional fabrics like kente and Ankara into high-street urban wears. Nigerian Nollywood film industry is changing narratives of global movie ecosystem, with African literature projecting far beyond the continent, with writers like Chimamanda Adichie. On social media, African digital creators are dominating international trends with unique storytelling, comedy, and choreography. Research demonstrates that Africa's tech-enabled gaming and esports industry hit $1 billion and is projected to expand to 3.7 billion by 2030, driven heavily and mainly by mobile money microtransactions. From China, we see the massive boost of Guoqiao, a trend where young creatives infuse traditional Chinese cultural elements, calligraphy and mythology into modern street fashion, toys, and electronics. This, I tell you, is the ultimate example of turning culture into commercial gold. Analysts project that the Guoqiao market will exceed $415 billion by 2028. Besides, China's short video culture, live stream, e-commerce, and gaming blockbusters are rewriting the global entertainment script. So how do we use this to drive cooperation and youth empowerment between China and Africa? 2026 marks the China-Africa Year of People-to-People exchanges, a celebration of 70 years of diplomatic relations. We must move past traditional models and focus heavily on digital and cultural co-production. First, we can leverage China's advanced digital infrastructure and creator tools, such as short video algorithms and live stream retail models, to amplify African creative products. Secondly, initiatives like the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation and events like the China-Africa Youth Culture Forum, as well as this forum, the World Youth Development Forum, provide ready-made institutional frameworks to fund and promote young entrepreneurs, artists, and filmmakers. We are already seeing this in action through events like the China Wuhan Film Week in Kenya, where joint musical talents shows like Song for Africa are actively being launched to mentor emerging youth talents. How do we translate all of these data points into actionable cooperation between China and Africa? I tell you, it is simple. We can tap into the institutional framework such as the Forum, as well as platforms provided by the World Youth Development Forum, such as the International Youth Innovation and Creativity Network that will be launched today, to support youth innovation projects throughout their growth. China's modern commitments include a massive $50.7 billion package in financing. Crucially, this funding marks a shift away from the heavy mega infrastructure like railways and roads to talent development, digital economy innovation, and private investment promotion. For young entrepreneurs and students, here, this opens three direct and distinct pathways. First, digital co-production. We must leverage China's short video algorithm infrastructure and e-commerce models to market African creative goods directly to China's 3 trillion yuan Guoqiao audience. Second is cross-cultural intellectual property. Youth entrepreneurs must actively look at cross-cultural design collaborations. Imagine blending African geometric Ankara aesthetics with Chinese Guoqiao street fashion elements to target international markets. Thirdly, we must use institutional incubators like the newly established China-Africa Youth Employment and Empowerment Internship Basis, the World Youth Development Forum, the new International Youth Innovation and Creativity Ecological Network, and partnerships like the Kenya-China Creative Television and Film Exchange at the University of Nairobi to access technical tools, mentorship, and seed funding. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by affirming that the creative economy is the bridge of the future. When an African digital creator collaborates with a Chinese tech developer, or when Afrofusion music meets China chic aesthetics, we do not just create art. We create businesses, we narrow development gaps, and we build a community with a shared, prosperous future. As youth entrepreneurs and leaders, I urge you not to view your passions as hobbies, but rather to look at them through the lens of data, export potential, and digital scalability. Look at the Africa-China corridor, not just as a supply chain for raw materials, but as an exchange of rich cultural capital. And as governments, let us empower our young people to turn their cultural capital into global economic capital. Let us use our shared digital creativity to turn trendy culture into sustainable economic empowerment. Creative economy and trendy culture are the emerging global currency. We must spend it wisely and harness it positively for our young creatives and entrepreneurs. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Francis Nwagani. From the rehabilitation of intangible cultural heritage to the rise of culture and creative merchandising, traditional Chinese culture is undergoing a profound creative awakening. Next, please join me in welcoming Ms. Wu Qiangfang, Deputy Director of the Cultural and Creative Research Center Dunhuang Academy, to share her insights. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Distinguished officials and guests, youths from around the globe, good morning. Culture and civilization thrive because of exchanges. Today it's my great pleasure to join you to talk about Dunhuang culture. A renowned Chinese scholar, Ji Xianling, said, "The splendor of Dunhuang culture is precisely the fusion of the finest essence of world cultures. We have India, Islamic, Greek culture, and Chinese culture, and Dunhuang culture is where these four major civilizations exchanges and intersect. Dunhuang culture is the integration of the essence of all ethnic groups' culture in the world. And for Dunhuang culture, one of the major ones is Dunhuang caves. There are 6 criteria for UN selection of World Cultural Heritage. If you meet any one of them, you are able to apply. But Dunhuang caves and grottos meet all 6 criteria, integrating elements such as cave paintings and so on, with murals, sculptures, and more than 70,000 precious cultural relics. In the library cave, the Dunhuang Academy is responsible for the World Cultural Heritage sites, including Mogao grottos in Dunhuang, Maijishan grottos in Tianshui, and others. It is a comprehensive protection research institution. Can be said that we manage most world cultural heritage sites in the world, spanning from east to west among all cultural institutions in China. What we are protecting is not only the grottos, but also the precious cultural heritage of China that span thousands of miles and years. Since 1980s, under the leadership of Mr. Fan Jingshi, the then DM, our team has studied projects spans nearly 40 years with a forward-looking vision. Digital Dunhuang is a means using digital technology to permanently record and preserve the precious heritage of the Dunhuang grottos. The mural you see now is 13.6 meter long and 3.8 meter high mural in the 61st cave of 5 dynasties at Mogao Grottos. If you go into the cave in person, you have to look up and can't see clearly in a dark cave, but today, no matter where you are in the world, you're able to log into the Digital Dunhuang website and click your mouse to choose any point to zoom in, which is so clear. Through decades of continuous investment, we are able to obtain, establish a vast collection of precious digital heritage of cultural relics, which centers on preservation, sustainable utilization, archaeology, archaeology and design,
不断地开发文创产
to
品，
share in the
本着
open
传
manner
承
to
文
allow
脉，
more
当
friends
代
from
表
around the
达，
world to
基于
appreciate
引
the
领而
Dunhuang
不是迎合的
culture.
态度，
We also
与社会
continuously
各界
develop
共
culture and
同地
creative
将敦煌
products
文化遗产
under the
转化为
principle of
与今天
inheriting the
当今
culture
现代生
with
活相结合
contemporary
的文创
expressions,
产品。
leading then catering
我们的文创产
and
品有
working
三大
together
板
with
块
all。
首
sectors
先
to
呢，是
transform
去
the
表达
culture
历史的
heritage
记忆。
into
我
creative
们希望
products.
能够把这样
Our
一
culture
份
and
沉
creative
甸
products
甸
have
的
three
历
major
史，用我
sections.
们今天
First,
的手，
to
用今
express
天的
historical
骨髓，讲
memories.
成美好
We
的
hope to be able
向
to
世界
take
传播
such
的
a
中国故事、敦
history
煌故
with our
事。
hands today,
我们
with our
这个
mouths,
呢，就是最
to
受
tell
大家
beautiful
欢迎的
Chinese
九
stories
色
to
鹿
the
系
world.
列，它传递给大家一种正
This
直、
particular
勇
picture
敢、
shows
善
our
良的
most
一种
popular
精
story
神体验。
of 9-colored
我们还
deer
将敦
series.
煌壁画呢
Convey a
做成了
spirit of
日历、
integrity,
每日一
bravery,
画
and
一
kindness to
文，
everyone.
把敦煌
We
壁
also
画的
made
故
calendars
事
based on the
与当代
Dunhuang
的美
murals
学融入到
with a
您的每
new
一
painting
天，
every
让
day.
读者在时光
We
流
combine
转
the
中
stories of
感受历
Dunhuang
史
murals
与当
with
下的交
contemporary
融。
aesthetics,
这个呢，是
allowing
我们
readers to feel
根据敦
integration
煌
of
壁
history
画
and
和唐
present
津
as
洞文
time
书
goes
结合
by.
做的一个端午节礼盒。
This is
因为
a
敦煌壁画
product
不仅仅是
for the
艺术瑰
Dragon
宝，
Boat
也
Festival,
是解读古
a
代礼
gift
俗的
box
一个密码。
created
大
based
家
on the
可以看到
Dunhuang
里面
murals
有香
and
包，有手
manuscripts in the
绳，
library
有
cave.
香片，有
Because
扇
murals
子，
are not only
它们从
artistic
何而来
treasures,
呢？
but also
我们从藏经洞文书里找到了这
codes
样
for
的文
interpreting
献。
ancient
今天的
rituals
我
and
们过端午
customs,
节
as you
是
can
要划龙
see.
舟、
These
吃
are
粽
sachets,
子，可是敦
bracelets,
煌地处
intense
在大黄
tablets,
戈壁中央，我们是
and
没有地方划龙
fans
舟的
inside.
好像也没有粽叶。于是我们看到，
We
在
celebrate
唐
Dragon
代的
Boat
时候，
today
敦
by
煌
dragging
本
boat
地人
races and
他们是
eating
去灵
zonzi,
沙山
which
上
is
滑
a
沙来
sticky
过端午
glutinous
节。
rice
然后呢，
delicacy.
本地的
But
人也
Dunhuang
会
is
相互
located in the
赠送
middle of the
团扇，
desert and
所以我们
Gobi.
在礼盒里
There
就
were
加入了这样
no
的元
place
素
for。us to hold dragon boat races, but it
这个呢
seems
是
there were
符合今天我
bamboo
们当
leaves
下
for
生活美学的一
zonzi.
组由
Therefore,
唐
we
代
found
青
during
云
the
山水
Tang
壁画
Dynasty,
而
local
创作
people
的
of
文创
Dunhuang
产
would
品。
celebrate
我
Dragon
们希
Festival
望
by
能
sliding
够把这样
down
的千
the
年古
Mingshan
韵穿越
Mountain,
千
which is
年，
very
带到
unique.
今天的生活美学
Additionally,
当中。
locals would
我们
engage
希望
in
大家
folding
能够
fans,
在使
which
用
is
这样的
other.
产
That's
品
why
的
we
时
have
候，
this kind
能
of
够沉
products.
浸到唐代
It
的
is an
生
culture
活
and
美
creative
学。
product inspired by the
我们还提取了敦煌
murals
莫
of
高
the
窟
Tang
唐代
Dynasty.
的
We
莲
hope
花
to
飞
really
天宝景的
transport the
元素，
thousand-year
经过
charms
演
through
绎设计，
millennium
用经典的
into
视觉符号
our
为
people's
现代的设
lifestyle
计注
today.
入了灵魂。
We have
这也是
also
我们去年
extracted
获得全
elements
国
of
博物馆十
lotus
大
flying
最优文创
Esteros
产
from the
品的一
Mogul
个
caves in
典范。
Dunhuang. After the
我们的第
design,
三
we're
板块
able
呢，
to
就是希望敦煌的
use
文
these
化
visual
不仅仅
symbols
是
to
躺在
infuse
专
modern
家学者
design
的
with
论
the
著里，
soul.
我们希望有更多的年轻
And
人
is
可
also a
以用
model
我
for
们
us
的文
to
创产
win the
品
national
来产生与
10
敦煌的
culture
链
and
接。
creative
希望
products
大
of the
家
museum
能
last
够
year.
用自
The
己好
third
奇的
part
眼
is
睛去
we
了
hope
解
that the
你
culture
心
of
目中的
Dunhuang
敦
is not
煌。
only in the
于是
works
我们
of
开发了
experts
一
and
些寓教
scholars.
于乐、
We hope
面
more
向
young
青
people
少
can
年
use
的
their
产
culture
品。
and creative products to establish
这个呢
connection
是
with
近些
Dunhuang.
年特别受年轻人
This
喜欢
is
的
an
敦煌
example
画林系列。
of a
我们将
popular
敦煌壁
product
画中的一些
among
山
young
海型
people
神灵为灵感，赋予每个形象
called
鲜
the
明的个
Dunhuang
性
painting
和神奇的能
Spirit
力，
series.
为年
We
轻
take
人
some
带来一
mountain
些心灵
sea
的慰藉和我
deities,
们所谓的精神
deities
价
in the
值。
Dunhuang murals as inspiration,
当
giving
然
each
是
image
靠敦煌
distinct
研究院这样一个科
personalities
研机构是
and
远远
magical
不够的，
abilities,
我们还与
bring some
社会的
spiritual
力量相
comfort
结合，
and
除了自
heritage
有品牌产品以
elements
外，
into
用全方位、多
scientific
形式的合
research.
作。推出
We
了一
also
些
combine
跨界联
forces
名
with
项
the
目，
society.
比如这
In
个是我们与
addition
很
to
近
our
合作的
products,
敦
we
煌
use
诗
all
经，
around and
它不
diverse
仅仅
forms
是一
of
个小程
cooperation
序，
to
我们
launch
可以在线
cross-border
上用我们拆
co-branded
解后的
products. For
早点
example,
元
this
素
Dunhuang
DIY
Palm
出
Tao
你自己
is a
专属的敦
collaboration
煌诗
between
经，
us and
还可
Tencent.
以一键下单， IT company. It's not just a mini program. We can use online use the dismantled elements of the cave ceiling to DIY your own tile, and also place an order with one click to customize your tile. This activity has attracted over 50,000 followers online within a day of its launch. To our surprise, the charm of traditional culture is self-evident. The scarves designed by many friends are so beautiful, even more beautiful than our customized ones. This is another example of collaboration with Huawei company, an AR project. Through the combination of real scenes of Mongol grottos and some AR, the experience of tourists visiting Mongol grottos can be greatly enhanced. Not only can you admire the murals and sculptures outside the cave, but also you are able to interact with them.
当然，我们还把敦煌壁
Of
画
course,
与二次元少年们进行了链接。
敦煌
这是敦
grottos
煌开发的4款王者荣
is
耀
also linked
专属皮肤。
with
我们希望
teenagers
能够让
who are
今
fond
天的
of
少年
animation.
通过寓教于乐游戏
There
的
are
方
4
式
exclusive
与古老
schemes
的
of
敦
honor
煌
of
产
kings
生
developed
链
by
接，
Dunhuang.
让我们古老
We
的
hope
敦煌
that
文化
today's
在新
teenagers
的平
can
台
through
上继续
entertaining
传
way of
播和
games
延
connect
续。
with the ancient Dunhuang heritage.
这是我们最近新打
This
造
is
的
a
一个
recent
XR
example,
大空间的沉
a
浸式体
new
验项目。
XR
戴上 VR 眼
immersive
镜，您不
program
仅可以
with
沉浸式身
AR
临其
and
境地观
VR
赏敦煌莫高窟
headset.
的
You are
精美壁
able
画和彩
to
塑，还能够穿越到
closely
唐代的
admire
上
and
元夜的
appreciate the
长安
exquisite
城，
murals and
与
painted
故事中的
sculptures
人
of the
物一
Mughal
起去体
caves,
验
but also
敦
travel
煌壁
back
画
in
背
time
后的这段
to
历史。
Chang'an,
我们希望
ancient
用创
time,
意和
China,
科技
and the
拓展
Lantern
文物
Festival
沉
in
浸
the
式
Tang
体验的新
Dynasty.
场景。
Experience
在
the
去年的
character's
上海国际
story
光影节，
yourself.
我们
We
还把
hope to
敦
use
煌奇遇
creative
的这个内容呢，
technology
与
to
大型的
expand
建
new
筑光影
scenarios
秀
of immersive experience of
文物
cultural
的乐
relics.
舞表演相
Last
结
year,
合，
Shanghai
还在上海
International
的静
Film
安
Lab
公园门口
Festival,
搬过
we
去了一个
combined
快闪
Dunhuang
店。
with a
短
large-scale
短1周之
architecture
内就有
lighting
100多万的
performance.
游客前来打卡。
Within
我们还
1
是希望
week,
用更多
over a
更
million
好的
tourists
方
came
式
to check
将
in.
敦煌石窟搬出敦
Hopefully,
煌，走向世
with
界，
better
让大
and
家
more
在
ways,
自
we're
己身
able to bring
边
the
就能够欣
Dunhuang
赏到这
caves
么
out
美
of
的
Dunhuang
传
to the
统文
world.
化。
I want
为
everyone
了这一目
to
标，我
appreciate
们还
it.
打造了数字
To
敦煌
achieve
开
this
放素
goal,
材库，
we have
这是全球
established
首个基于区块
a
链技术
digital
的
Dunhuang
数字
open
文化遗产
material
开放
library,
共享平
the
台，
very
于
first
2022
using
年的
blockchain
12月
technology,
8日正式上线。
digital
我
cultural
们将莫
heritage
高
platform,
窟以及周
officially
边石
launched
窟，
on
还有藏
December
经洞的6500份高清
2022.
数字档案，向全球开放共享。为学
For
者、
the
文
Mughal
化爱
caves,
好
we
者
have
以及艺术
digitized
创意者打造了一个一
6,500 high
站式的
definition
敦煌文
files
化共享平台
in the，
实现
library,
了文化资源的
make it
高效
available
流
for the
动。
world to enjoy.
朋友们，敦
Dear
煌从来
friends,
不只是中国的
Dunhuang
敦
is
煌，
not just
它是4大文明
China's
的汇流
Dunhuang.
之地，
It's
是全
one
世
of
界
the
共同的文化记忆。
convergence
从云端
of
到敦煌石
4
窟，
major
从科
civilizations
研到
around the
文创
world.
产品。我
It's
们
a
一直
cultural
在做
memory
的就是
shared
将
by
这
the
份
world.
珍贵的文化遗
From
产与
scientific
当下的每一
research
个你进
to
行链
cultural and
接。
creative
今天，
products,
我想
what we're
对
doing
在座的
is to
各位青
connect
年
this
朋友们
precious
说，
cultural
敦煌的
heritage
故事
with each
欢
and
迎你
every
们
one of
来
you.
继续续写。
I want to say
让我
to
们
all
一
the
起
youth
用
here,
各自的创
welcome
意
to
和
continue
热
to write the
情，
story
让
of
古老的文
Dunhuang
明
with
在
your
我
own
们的手中
inspiration
走
and
向更
creativity.
遥远的未来。
Enable
谢谢大
ancient
家。
civilization to move forward in the distant future.
Thank you, Ms. Wu Qiongfang. Europe has accumulated extensive experience in the fields of creativity, economy, and trend culture, while young people are actively exploring the deep integration of digital technology and creative industries. Next, please welcome Mr. Dean Ilowski, President of the European Youth Association, to share European practices in the creative economy and trend culture.
Distinguished Excellency, organizers, representative of international organizations and young leaders from around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a profound honor to stand before you here in the vibrant city of Wuhan and hub of innovation and history to discuss the creative economy and trend culture. I would like to thank you, the organizers, for bringing together young leaders, experts, institutions, and businesses from around the world. At a time when creativity has become a major driver of economic growth and social transformation, international cooperation is more important than ever. We meet at a moment when creativity, culture, and innovation are becoming some of the most powerful drivers of economic growth, social inclusion, and international understanding. Today, I would like to share perspective from both Macedonia and Europe, highlighting how creativity, culture, innovation, and youth entrepreneurship can work together to create sustainable development and stronger international partnership. The creative economy is no longer a niche sector. Today, creativity industry contributes significantly to economic growth, employment, innovation, tourism, and digital transformation. whether through design, film, architecture, gaming, fashion, music, digital content, cultural tourism, or creative technology. The value of creative is increasingly recognized worldwide. What makes the creativity economy unique is that it relies on the resource that every country possesses: human talent. Unlike natural resource, creativity grows when it's shared, supported, and connected. For young people, especially, the creative economy provides opportunities to become innovators, entrepreneurs, and change makers. As someone coming from Macedonia, I can say that our experience demonstrates how smaller countries can leverage creativity and culture as engine of development. Macedonia possesses a rich cultural heritage shaped by diverse civilization, tradition, languages, music, arts, and crafts. In recent years, young entrepreneurs and creativity professionals have increasingly transformed this heritage into modern economic opportunities. We have witnessed the growth of digital creative industry, innovative startups, cultural festivals, creative tourism initiatives, and technology-driven enterprise that combine local identity with global perspectives. I would like to mention one example that demonstrates the power of youth-led international cooperation. Through the Youth Engagement Academy, organization and young people from several countries collaborate to strengthen youth participation, entrepreneurship, leadership, and civil engagement. The initiative creates opportunities for young people to exchange ideas, develop innovative projects, and build networks that extend beyond national borders. It demonstrates how creativity is not only expressed through art and culture, but also through innovative approach to social development and community engagement. Another example is our participation in the Circle Waste project, a transnational initiative involving partners from 8 countries across the Adriatic Union region. The project promotes innovative solutions for electronic waste management through circular economic principle, digital innovation, and cross-border cooperation. By transforming waste into economic and environment value, it shows how creativity can contribute not only to cultural development, but also to sustainability, green entrepreneurship, and new employment opportunities for young people. Even such an international recognized Ohrid Summer Festival and promotion of Ohrid region demonstrate how culture can support tourism, local economic development, and international visibility. At the same time, young entrepreneurs are increasingly using digital platforms to reach global markets, providing the innovation is not limited by geography. For a country like Macedonia, creativity is not simply a cultural asset, it is a development opportunity. Across Europe, we have seen how strategic investment in culture and creativity can generate significant social and economic benefits. European cities have transformed former industrial zones into creative districts, innovation hubs, startups, ecosystem, and cultural centers that attract talent, investment, and tourism. Programs supporting youth mobility, entrepreneurship, innovation, and cultural exchange have helped thousands of young creators develop skills, establish business, and build international networks. Europe has also demonstrated the importance of connecting culture with technology. Trendy culture has become one of the most influential forces shaping today's generation. Through music, fashion, gaming, digital media, social platforms, and creative content, young people communicate across borders in ways that were unimaginable just a generation ago. What is particularly remarkable is that trends no longer flow in the only one direction. Today, local cultures can become global inspiration. Creative idea development in Wuhan, Skopje, Berlin, Nairobi, or Sao Paulo can reach millions of people worldwide within days. This creates extraordinary opportunities for cultural exchange, entrepreneurship, and innovation. However, while embracing global trends, we must also preserve cultural authenticity. The most successful Creative products are often those that remain rooted in a local identity with speaking to global audience. The future of the creative economy depends on cooperation. No country, regardless of its size or level of development, can fully unlock its creativity potential alone. We need stronger partnership between Europe and Asia, between developed and developing economies, and between public institutions, private sector, and civic society. We need to exchange ideas, share good practice, support youth mobility, facilitate investment, and create platforms where creativity can flourish across borders. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look forward to the future, one truth becomes increasingly clear. Creativity is not a luxury, it is a strategic resource. The creativity economy is not only about economic growth, it's about human potential. Trendy culture is not only about what is popular today, it's about how young people shape the future. From Macedonia to Europe, from China to every corner of the world, young people are providing that innovation, culture, and entrepreneurship can work together to create solutions for global challenges. Let us continue building bridges between cultures, connecting creativity with innovation, empowering young people to transform ideas into impact. If we invest in creative today, we invest in more prosperous, inclusive, and sustainable future for all. Thank you very much for your attention. It's a privilege to be part of this inspiring forum and look forward to our continued cooperation. Shesha.
Thank you, President Ilioski. Major sports events are not only platform for competition, but also emotional bonds, connection seats, and young people. Next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Tsai Yongjun, Chair of the Technical and Innovation Commission of the World Boxing Association, and to share his insight. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to share the point that creative industry and the trendy culture are closely integrated. I've participated in the Olympics twice and the Asian Games. So at the Tokyo Olympics, as we all know, there were 4 events: skateboarding, rock climbing, surfing, and snowboarding and breakdancing. And all these 4 items combine creative and trendy culture. Today I want to cite the Suzhou Marathon as a case for sharing. So in the 2025 Suzhou Marathon, there were 25,000 entry slots, but 160,000 people signed up, a growth of 219% compared to 2024. For a city marathon that has only had 3 editions, this growth rate is remarkable. People often ask, isn't a marathon just a group of people running for 42 kilometers? Why 160,000 people are fighting for a slot? My answer is they're not fighting for a slot only, they're fighting for a city. Because Suzhou is a city known for its vitality. So people are willing to go there. And out of this 160,000, about 4 out of every 5 are from outside Suzhou. They take high-speed trains and planes to travel to a city for just one race, one marathon. The race route starts at Lion Mountain Square, runs along the bluestone slabs of Shantangjie Street, and then to Pingjiang Road, and goes to the gate of the Orient. So this 42.195 kilometers form a cultural corridor of Suzhou. Running on this route, you will remember the city by heart. So the first thing I want to say is that large-scale sport events are fastest entry points for young people to get to know a city. So in the things we are doing, the thing we care most about is that we want to ensure every runner first become a tourist and then become a promoter and a messenger of the city. So they come to run, they come to stay, they have a bowl of 3 shrimp noodles and stroll around Shiquan Street at night. They post night pictures in their moments. And according to our statistics, 95.68% of the runners say the race really made me spend money in Suzhou, enjoying myself and fall in love with the city. And of course, the Wuhan Marathon is also wonderful. I have run it before, and I like the hot dry noodles here. So the secret behind sports events and economy is not about the few hours of the competition. I want to show you the account book. The ledger of the Suzhou Marathon is divided into 3 levels. So on the first level, you can see the direct economic impact is 1.63 billion yuan. For accommodation, transportation, sightseeing, shopping, and entertainment, they spend on the spot. And the second layer is 76,000 media reports. Great communication value, right? Of 5.58 billion yuan. So a full 500 million is earned for the name of Suzhou. The city has been seen by the world. And the third layer, the most valuable, that is the overall economic pool on the city approaching 4.8 billion yuan. It created 1,866 new jobs. One event grows into a brand, and one group of runners forms a community. There is a saying in our industry, from traffic to retention. Attracting people is traffic, retaining people and making them fall in love with the city is retention. And at the center of all this, who is it? It's the youth. On the race course, the runners are mostly young and middle-aged people. Along the course, 4,112 volunteers are university students from 10 universities in Suzhou. And in the sky above the course, drones provide artificial rainfall to cool down the runners. And after the race, every participant receive an AI-edited, personalized short video. So all these new technologies, new positions, new entrepreneurship are young people. Therefore, in event economy, youth are never just consumers, they are co-creators. This is exactly the transformation we most want to see in today's creative economy forum. Of course, the more events we organize, the more we realize that running fast is not as good as running long. When organizing a race, we keep in mind the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We want the green race rules and paperless operation. We want to reserve special slots for friends with disabilities, and we incorporate the city's history into the design. And the Suzhou Marathon finishers medal is a Suzhou-style lattice window that can be trifolded. Opening the first layer reveals the traditional character for Su. The second layer is the Jiangnan lattice window, and the third hides a small garden. So many runners say that it's not just a medal, it's a piece of art, it's a piece of memory. So a good event should make the city a little better both before and after the race. The overall satisfaction of Suzhou Marathon is 94%. And 70% of the runners set new personal bests, and all event records were broken. So the scale and quality can grow together. Finally, I would like to say a few heartfelt words to young friends from all over the world. China's marathon boom is driven by cities who are carefully managing themselves. The model of run a marathon, explore a city can be replicated and must be tailored to local conditions. Sports never need translation. At the sound of the starting gun, young people from all over the world set off together. Events are the most universal language among youth in this era. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tsai Yongjun. Youth culture in Central Asia is undergoing rapid transformation, and the creative economy is becoming the crazily important venue for young people to express themselves. Next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Barkadolet Jandialayev, Executive Director of the Congress of Youth of Kazakhstan, to share his insights. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Қайырлы күн, құрметті форум қатысушылары. Good afternoon, dear forum participants, dear colleagues, friends, and organizers. It is a week honor for me to speak here. On behalf of the youth of Kazakhstan, I want to say a huge thank you to the All China Federation for the warm welcome in Wuhan. Wuhan is a city with great history. Today, it leads in technology and supports young people. It is the best place to talk about creativity and youth culture. Today, a main wealth of any country is not oil or gas, but people. Their talents create fresh ideas and creativity. In Kazakhstan, developing a creativity economy is our main goal. Our country is very young. More than 1/3 of our people are under 35. Young people are changing our culture and turning art into a strong business. In our country, a government creates good conditions and organizations help on the ground. The government of Kazakhstan does since we have a big plan to grow creative industries. The state gives good grants like Tawelsizlik Urpaqtari, Generation of Independence, and offers tax cuts for creative startups. We build modern creative hubs in all regions. The government gives good buildings and buys top equipment, recording studios and cameras. The Youth Congress of Kazakhstan helps to bring life to these spaces. We connect talents, a government and investors. Here is what we do. We open free courses for youth from cities and villages. You teach design, mobile video, social media, and AI. We organize creative events, poetry and movie nights, and open disconnect yoga. Young people can share ideas and find friends. You help creators turn ideas in business projects, show them to big sponsors. And these projects real work. Look at our music. Kazakh music is very popular now far outside our country. Our young artists and beatmakers get millions of streams on Spotify, Apple Music, and Yandex Music. They make songs in Kazakh and mixed traditions, instruments like dombra and kobuz with modern beats. The whole world listens to them because of their unique style. The whole world to them because of their unique style. You also have a big success in cinema. Young directors under 30 make low-budget movies, but these films win top awards at world festivals. For example, the film Paurna Salu won a main prize in Italy and was nominated for Oscars. The drama Step Wolf won awards in Montreal. In Kazakhstan, our movies make more money Hollywood blockbusters. Digital animation and game development are also going fast. But you believe you can solve this together. Wuhan is a world center for technology and education. We want to build bridges, start joint creative spaces and cultural exchange. Let's create business incubators. Your young people can partners, start cool projects, write code, or make animations. Dear colleagues, the creative economy has no limits. You are building future right now. Thank you to the All China Youth Federation for the great event. Ayush, evaluation, inspiration, and good work. Rahmet, Sise, thank you for attention.
Thank you, Mr. Jandilayev. Young creators often face practical challenges such as unlimited resource and insufficient platform for development. Next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Wang Xiyong, founder and CEO of 210 Animation, to share his insights. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Distinguished young friends, good morning. We are a Wuhan local animation company. Today I'd like to share with you a story about Dream, about your consistency and perseverance. Animation is a great industry, not only integrating imagination, making it a reality, allows to travel through time and space. It has inspired generations. I always believe that the essence of animation is not technology, but open dreams. Over a decade ago, moved by this, I was making up my mind to build a great company, a Chinese company. In 2007, I just graduated from college and rented a 100-square-meter apartment in Wuhan to start my animation dream. I borrowed 30,000 Chinese yuan from my mother to start the business. I slept in the office every day, always had the thought that I wanted to create a great work and build a great animation company. But the reality was actually very cruel. In the most difficult time, in order to pay social insurance, I even borrowed a lot of money from my friends. Then I cut the company staff in half. This was the most difficult time of my life. But I said to myself, no giving up. We can't only believe what we see, but believe to see. Later, I figured out we can't just think we're doing well or just think we're artists. We have to let everyone feel that work with resonance are good words. So in 2014, we created a work called the Silver Timekeeper, which is the work this shown on the screen. This click-through rate in China exceeded 17 billion times as soon as it was released. But success in China was not enough for us. We sold our copyright to Japan in 2017 at Tokyo MX. Our first work, premiered on their TV station, became a great example of Chinese animation entering the mainstream Japanese TV. Japanese youngsters also love our work very much, so later I brought those works to Cannes, and we found that the French prefer a different style. So we created another work called Legend of the Giant Soldier, which was released in more than 20 countries worldwide. We found that good stories transcend borders, and stories can cross mountains and seas. To be loved by people of another culture, since people in Japan and Europe like our work, is it possible for US and other countries? So we began to create other content, such as League of Legends, Honor of Kings, and other top game companies. This is clearly a black person, but we use Chinese people and the Chinese team to tell a global story. We produced a CG animation short film created by Chinese animators, viewed by hundreds of millions of people around the world. To achieve industrialization, we use technology as a tool and created this particular software. It has won the Emmy Awards in the US as well. This word is called Miami. The technology also used in films like Naja, The Wandering Earth, Game of Thrones, and Aquaman. Countless movies have utilized it. Behind those spectacular battle scenes, you can see the efforts of the Chinese animators. No matter where you come from, what language you speak, as long as you can touch people's hearts, the world will make way for you. After working on these projects, we tried to summarize our methodologies, realizing it wasn't just good luck. We formulated a method. I think it's very important that we consider multiple dimensions. A paradigm, what does your audience want, how to resonate with their hearts, how to really touch their souls. Based on this methodology, our business has grown. From movies to animation, games, cultural tourism, creative products, digital sectors, we have also invested more than 40 upstream and downstream industry chains. We grow together with everyone. This has enabled us to transform from creating works to manufacturing products. Last year, we also produced a work called Crossing the New World. It was displayed in Hubei Provincial Museum. Once launched, this work became very popular. On a daily basis, if you want to enjoy this work at Hubei Provincial Museum, you might need to queue for about 2 hours. And last year, we have been winning awards at Hubei Province and Wuhan city level as well, selected as one of the most popular gift products here at local level. So to sum up, the creative industry is not just about entertainment, but also about economic amplifier. 19 years ago, a young man in Wuhan was painting a residential building. Today, we're standing here, and his works are seen by dozens of countries. He participated in an international blockbuster. We want to go out to more places around the world to share our story. Finally, there's a 60-second short video. Hopefully, you can enjoy it.
2007年，我们想做一部伟大的作品。
In 2007, we want to
我
create
们想做一
something
家
big.
伟大的公司。
In 2019, we want to
我们要
create
是迪士尼吗？
a company big.
我们要走一条自己的路。
We want to blaze a trail of our own.
什么叫作品？
What is
作
the
品
product?
就是把自己灵魂的一部分投入进去的东西。
Part of yourself into.
以前我们认为
We
一
used
幅
to
画才叫
think
作品，现在我们觉得
it's an
这叫18
animation.
年的公司，是我们共同
But
画出
now
的作
it
品。
has many more co-created
这
by
家公司
us.
还没画完，我们希望70、80岁
Unfinished, still on
才
the
能
way
开跑车来
ahead.
画画。
谢谢大家。
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wang Xiong. Creative needs the fertile ground, but it also needs sustained support. How can investors discover young talent, place trust in young people, and accompany them on their journey? So, next, please join me in welcoming Mr. Wang Hui, Executive General Manager of China International Capital Corporation Limited, to share his insights. Please give him a warm round of applause.
It 非常高兴在今天这个充满活力的6月来到
In this
九省
June
通衢的
day
武汉。
to come to Wuhan City.
武汉这座城市不但
Known
有
as the gateway
热干面的香
of
气，
China.
更有
Wuhan
广为人
not
先的
known
创业
for
基因。
hot and dry noodles,
今天呢，我跟
but
大家分
also
享
for the
的
capacity
是看
of
见青年
innovation.
创造力、投
Today,
资
my
赋能
topic
新消费。
is seeing youth creativity, investment empowers new consumption.
我们从2个部分来分
Two
享。
areas I'd like to talk about.
第一个部分
First,
是行业的
industry
观察。
observation and new consumption.
首先，我们
First of all,
这几年也看
In
到
recent years, we
新消
saw
费的蓬勃发展。
consumption is burgeoning.
新消费呢，在我们的看到是
New
新的是
consumption,
技
as
术
we call
和
it,
创新驱动
is new in
的效率革
technology
命，
and innovation-driven
是体验重构
efficiency,
的产品和产品升
reshaping the
级。
experience
但
and
不变的
upgrade of
是
products.
消费者对品质的追求。
Something remain unchanged, which is the pursuit of quality of consumers as well
所以
connection
我
with a
们看
particular
这
brand.
个新消费呢，
Therefore, when we
以新
talk
技
about
术、
new
新理
consumption,
念、
of course it
新模
features
式
new
作为
technology
创新点，
models, concepts as
持续
innovation
推出
points
契
to
合市场需求
promote products
的产品和服务。
meeting the
近
market
几
demand
年，
and needs.
新消费
In
品
recent
牌
years, new
增长
consumption
减快。
brands
目
are
前看来
increasing.
看，主要的产品品类集
Major
中在
categories include
IP 潮玩、
IP,
户外
trendy
运动、
toys,
奶茶、咖
outdoor
啡、
sports,
黄金珠宝、
bubble tea,
宠物、
jewelry,
美妆等消
pet-related
费热点
business,
领域。
cosmetics and
那我
skincare.
们总结呢，新
To
消费
sum
的
up,
新
new
主要体
consumption,
现
we
在
talk about new.
第一是
First
品
of
类
all,
性，
it's of course the
第
category.
二是场景
Second,
性，
scenario.
第三是
Third,
稀缺性，第四
scarcity.
是热门性。
Fourth, trending
那
appeals.
新消费呢，我们
When we
是
talk about new consumption,
我们认为新消费
we do
的增
consider
长呢
it
具
in
备
terms
可
of
持续
growth.
性。
It is sustainable.
在中国
In China,
这个消费市场庞大，
with a
而且
huge
有
market
韧
for
性，
consumption
为
and
新
highly
消费企业
resilient new
提供了
consumption
丰富的
companies
成长
have been
空间。
offered ample room for growth.
第二，这个
Second,
新消费的驱动因素
For
啊，
the new
我们
consumption,
重
there are
点
many
关注
drivers. The major ones include,
关注在消费端，就是需求端。
in terms of consumption
那实际
need,
上这
for
里面重
example,
要的两个分类呢，一个是实用价值，
one
这里
is
面包括质价比、
practicality,
科技含量
science
与功能性、
technology,
健康养
functionality,
生等因
health
素。
and so on
这
to
是
be
一个
considered.
基底。
This is the foundation.
第二类呢是
Second,
情绪价值，这
emotional
里面包
values,
括国货的偏爱、
including
陪
preference for
伴、
domestic
社交、
brands,
认同、
companionship, social
宠溺
connection,
感、高级
identity,
感等。
premium,
那实用价值
sense
和
of
情绪
ownership
价
and
值，
so
我
on.
们是认为是从需求端最能吸引和打动消费者
So
的创新突破点。
practicality and emotional values
那对
are
于企业来
the
讲，
things that
如
most
何能够
attractive
做到创新？
at the
怎么
demand
能
end.
保持
So
可
for
持续增长？
enterprises, how can they
那我们这
achieve
里面作为我们
innovation
投
and
资机构，我
maintain
们重点关
sustainable
注的是
growth?
企业
As an investment institution,
如何能
we
够在战略
highlight、or
创新
prioritize
和运营
the
能力的持续
strategic
的
the
提升，
development
包括
and the continuous
是否能够
improvement
将
in
流
innovation
量
and
的
operational
优势转化
capability of
为品牌的
enterprises
力
and
量，
how they
把短
can
期的热度
turn
转化为中
traffic
长
advantages
期
into
可以
brand
持续
power
增长的一个能
and
力。
how can they convert short-term popularity into mid and
那
long-term
近几年
growth
来，
capabilities?
这个
In
中
recent
国政
years,
府一
the
直
Chinese
也是
government
致力于在国家战略
is
里面
committed
推动消费
to
的升
national
级，包括新
strategy
消费的新型消费
of
的增长点。
stimulating the upgrading of
2024
consumption
年，中
and
央
also
经济工作
find
会
new
议
growth
提
points.
出积极
In
发展首发
2024, the
经济、
Central Economic
冰
Work
雪经
Conference
济、
proposed
银发经济。
the development of the
2025年，
first
中共
sail
中央办公
economy,
厅、
the
国务院
ice
办
and
公厅
snow
印发的
economy, the
提
silver
振
haired
消费专
economy.
项
And in
行动方案
2025,
提
the
出，
General Office of the
支
Central
持
Committee of the
开
Communist
发
Party of
原
China
创知识产权、
and
IP
also
品牌
the State
促
Council
进动
General
漫、游
Office
戏、
issued
电
the
竞
Special
及
Action
其
Plan to
周
boost
边衍生
consumption,
品等消费。
proposing the
同时，方
consumption
案还鼓
of
励
IP
开拓国货潮品
and
国内外
animation,
增量
comics,
市场，
games,
支持
esports,
消费
and
新业态的
peripheral
新模式。
derivatives. And at the same
这
time,
里
the
面
plan
围绕
encourages
着
the
国家
development
战
of
略，包
domestic
括老龄
trend
化、
product,
对
domestic
应
and
的
foreign
银发经
incremental
济、
market.
宠物经济、
So
文
around the
化
national
世界
strategy,
里
including
边
the
对应
silver
的
hair
IP 潮
economy,
玩、
corresponding
国货美
to the aging
包括健康
population,
中国
a
提到
pet
对应
economy,
的
cultural
运动
confidence,
户外、
and
功
also
能食
corresponding
品、
IP
健
trendy
康消费，
toys,
包
domestic
括
beauty
新质
products,
生产力、
sports and
消
outdoor
费对应的
activities,
AI
functional
硬
food,
件、
health
智能家居、
consumption,
消费
including
电
AI
子创新
hardware
等。
corresponding to mental productivity
那这里
consumption,
边通过
smart
这几年
home,
观察呢，我们
consumer
看到
electronics
国内的
innovation,
消
and
费者
so
对于
on.
国货品牌
So over the
的
past years,
总
according
体
to our
喜爱度在
observation,
稳
the
步提
overall
高。从2023年的
preference
4.17
of the Chinese customers
到
for domestic
2025年的
brands
4.49，
has been
满分数
increasing from 4.17 in 2023 to 4.49 in 2025 out of 5.
今年最新的4月份的政治局会议
And the
也对
latest
于整个消费提出了
Political Bureau's meeting
精准有效
this year
优化
has
结构
also
的
put
两条主
forward
线。
two priorities
消费政策
for
正从刺
consumption
激消
structure.
费转向
We're
创造
moving
消
from
费，
stimulating
通过
consumption
优
to
质
creating
供给
consumption,
带动消费升级，
using high quality
从价
supply
格
to
竞争走
replace
向价值竞
consumption
争，
upgrading.
为原创品牌和
Competition
创
has
新
moved
企业
from price
创造
competition
了
to
更
better
大的
competition,
发展空间。
creating more space
科技
for
创新
enterprise
正成为
development.
创意产业
Sci-tech development
新消费
has become
升级的
a
新的
very
引擎。
important engine for the upgrading of the creative industry.
这个 这一页呢，重点的我们还是
And
想
on this
把
slide, I want to
就
show
是
you
需求端真正驱动
the
消费的
demand
我们的
end
两大因素
and how
情绪价值
it
和实用
drives
价值这一块给
our
大家做一个分享。
consumption
时间关系就不
from
展开
2
了。
points that is emotional value and
第二部
practical
分呢，
value.
我
But
们
I
重
will
点看一
skip
下
this part
资本如何赋能
for the interest of
新消
time,
费。
and I will move on to the second part on how capital
今
empowers new
年
consumption.
15规划纲
This
要
year, in the outline of
就明确
the
提出了耐心资
55-year
本
plan, we put forward the idea
要壮大
of
耐心资
patient
本，完
capital,
善中长期资金
which
进
should
入
be
市
expanded,
场的
and
政
we
策体系，
encourage
并要求
midterm capitals
政
to
府投资基
enter the
金
market,
要带头做
and
耐
the
心资
government
本。
net
这是
capitals
继
should
2024年政
focus
治局
on
会议首
or
提
should
后，
become
耐心资
patient
本
capital.
被正
So
式
it's
纳
the
入
second time since
年
the
的规划的这个顶层设
Politburo's
计。
meeting in
那目
2024
前从
that
市场的这个
patient
资金
capital
来
has
源
been
看，
included in the
现
top
在政府
level
的引导
design
基金、
of the
国资
5-year
平
plan.
台、
Currently
保险
speaking,
资金、
from a market
社保
capital
等长
source
期资金
perspective,
已成
government-guided
为
funds, state-owned
LP 的这个主力
capital
国资超
performances
过
and
80%。
insurance funds and long-term funds
那
such as Social
第二，
Security has
从
become
基
the
金
main
的期
force
限来看，这是一个
of
比较大的突破。
the sector.
近年来
And
新
second,
设
from
的
the perspective of fund
尤其
maturity,
今
this
年新
is
设
a
的
big
这个
breakthrough. In
中央
recent
级政
years,
府的创投类的
especially
引导基金、母基
the
金的这
central
个
government
存续
guided
期存续期
venture
普
capital
遍延长
found
到
this year,
15
the
到
survival
20
period of the mother
这个就
fund
解决了
has
传
been
统上
extended
6到
to
8年的
15
一
to
个短
20
周期对
years
于企
over the
业
previous
的一个
6
运营压
to
力的
8
一个
years, so
弊
it
端
can。solve
同时，
the
政策导
past
向也非常
pressures
明
on
确，投的
the
方向就是
enterprises.
鼓励
At the same time,
要
the
投早、
orientation is
投
very
小、
clear.
投长
It will
期。
focus on
那
profitability,
从
early
今年的这个
investment,
一季度的这个
a
备案
long-term
的这个私募股
investment,
权
and
和创
small
投基金的
investment.
数量1758只，
And the number of private equity and venture capital funds filled in the first quarter of this year is 1,758, an increase of 81% year on year. Patient
创
capital is
业创新
accelerating
起
into the
家，
market.
这是一个无疑
So
是一
for
个
entrepreneurship
源
and
头
new
活水。
startups, this is of course a very important source of funding.
第二，从退出端看，
And second,
也就是
from
说
the exit
今年我
side,
们深圳
that
的
is
这
to
个
say
创业
this year,
的深化改革很明确。
the GM in
从它的定
in
位去做
Shenzhen
出了
will
明
deepen
确的升级，
reform.
也就是说，从科
It
技
is a
创
clear
新
trend.
也
Its
加上
positioning has
了
been
消
clearly
费创
upgraded.
新的一个双轮驱动。
From sci-tech
政策明确提出，
innovation to
积极支
consumption
持
innovation, forming a
优质的
dual
为
wheel
盈
drive.
利创
This
新企
policy
业和
clearly
新型
states
消费、现代服务业
the support
领
over
域
high
优
quality,
质创新企
unprofitable,
业发
innovative
行上市。
enterprises in new consumption, modern
加力
services
支持
industry,
新
and other
产业、
areas.
新业态、
In their
新技术企业
IPOs.
发展和传统产业转型
We
升
will
级。
also support
我们
new
注意到
industries, business forms, and
这个
technologies,
新型
and
消费
transforming
是
and
被首
upgrading
次提出
traditional。enterprise.
那
We noticed that
中央也
it's the
更
first time
加
that new
关注
consumption has
科
been
技创
mentioned.
新和消费升
The
级
central
的
government
融合发展，
pays more
更
attention
加
to
关注
consumption,
具有
upgrading,
高成长性、
and also
创新性
the
和产业
integrated
引领作用
development
的新
and
消费企
focusing
业
more
和
on
现
companies
代
with
服
high
务。
growth potential, innovation
业的企业。
capability, and
这里
industrial
边
leading
第
roles,
四大标
especially
准
new
实际上
consumption
也对于
enterprises
这
and
个
modern
创新
services.
型的企业
So
未盈
the
利的企业
fourth
的这个上市，
standard is
就提供
actually
了新的
for
上市的一个标准
innovative
和规范。
companies, for unprofitable
所以从
companies to go
刚才的这
public.
个
It provides
我
a
们
new
从
standard
投
and
资的角度
channel.
来看，
So from an investment point of view,
目前的这个周期是一
the
个
current
创
cycle
新和创业的最佳的一个周
is
期。
the best
对于
timing
我们的
for
新消费，对于我们的创
innovation
业
and
经济来讲，
entrepreneurship. For
我们
our
作为
new
投资机构也愿意陪伴
consumption,
大家
especially our
迎
creative
接这
industry
个
as an
新
investment
消费和
institution,
创
we
业
are
经济
willing
的一个新周期
to。work
好
with
的，我的
you
分享
and
完了，
usher
谢谢
you
大家
into。this new era. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Wang Hui. Our society thanks as well to all waiting, discussing speakers for this inspiring exchange of ideas. Every step forward in the creative economy depends on the participation and creativity of young people. May the consensus we have built today serve as new starting point. As we work together to transform creativity into a true productive force, ensuring that the creativity of young people is recognized, inspired, and amplified. This concludes in the keynote speech session. Next, we'll move on to the Youth Dialogue session. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Li Qiuyuan, entry of CGTN, who will moderate this session. A warm round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Drelo. Now, may I have my guests on the stage, please? Let's please welcome Mr. Jiang Heng, Mr. Augusta Gonzalez, Ms. Duan Yanting, Mr. Yan Kalu, Mr. Liu Yang, and Ms. Wenthi Hongbui to the stage. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Youth Dialogue. My name is Li Qiuyuan. I'm a news anchor with CGTN, China Global Television News Network. It's so great to have all of you with us here today. Thank you so much for joining us. So for the next hour or so, we will be exploring a powerful cultural shift in our landscape today. That is how young people are becoming co-creators. You know, for the past few years, conversations about youth always centered on one topic, that is, what are they consuming? But today, a new generation is changing that narratives as creators, as architects, as space makers. So today, to unpack all this, we're joined by 6 extraordinary young talents and heavyweights across the globe and from various industries. Please join me in welcoming my guests. They are Mr. Jiang Heng, General Manager of Wuhan 27 Kilometers Culture Communication. Welcome, Mr. Jiang. And Mr. Augusta Gonzalez, President and CEO of Young European Leadership. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Gonzalez. And Ms. Duan Yanting, Project Manager of Guosheng Wuhan Asset Operation. Welcome. And Mr. Yan Kalu, young French porcelain artist, international PhD candidate of Jingdezhen Ceramic University. Welcome. Good to see you. We also have Mr. Liu Yang, Chairman of U+ International Youth Community. Welcome. Last but not least, please welcome Ms. Wenthi Hongbui, Business Development Manager of May Paper Flower of Vietnam. Welcome, welcome. So before we get started, just want to kindly remind everyone we're running a little bit behind schedule, so be mindful of the time when you start sharing your perspective with us. Try to limit your speech within 4 minutes. Thank you very much. So let's get started. Why don't I start with you, Mr. Jiang? So over 17 years, you have transformed graffiti from streets into subways, trains, buses, and ships, even containers. You've changed a solitary art form into something that anyone can join. Tell us, how did that all begin? Let us再试一下，请工作人员确保一下我们的嘉宾的麦是开的。
喂，好了。大家好，我是江恒，一名涂鸦艺术家。
So my name is Jiang Heng. I'm a graffiti artist. I'm also the creator of Yimao and Yang. I have had a history of graffiti creation for 17 years now. I have been trying all different forms on the transportation vehicles, and from the ferry to the bus. And after this, I want to make more people understand graffiti and this art form. So I want to use the urban culture of Wuhan for my creation. So Yimao is based on the cherry blossom, and Yilang is the wave from the East Lake. So through the Yimao brand, we have created a lot of public art pieces, including urban buildings, public spaces, and also large art installations. Afterwards, I have also begun a co-creation project, which is called 10,000 People Stepping on the Cherry Blossom Project. So in 2021, in the Shibeihu Square, we had a 1,300 square meters canvas. We invited citizens, their pets, and even bicycles, the children, and car wheels to participate in the creation. So they would have the paint on them and then create the word together. So that was the birth of Yimao. And then after that, we began the Yimao's Urban Invasion Project, which has continued today. So this invasion can be seen into the streets and alleys of the urban spaces, and then onto the buses of Wuhan, and also the trains, and also the ports of Wuhan. And we have also developed the AR interaction, so you can scan the QR code to know the emoji, and we can take photos with the email. Because spring is short, as we all know, so we want to make people feel the atmosphere of spring anytime, anywhere for the people. And after that, we brought the email to the Singapore Chinese Cultural Exchange Center for some global efforts. So in September this year, we will go to the United States for the 2026 Burning Man 40 years anniversary. We will bring email to the site as a huge art installation, and we will also invite global guests to participate into a co-creation of graffiti. So you will use paint in your own language and create your own ideas. So through this figure of email, we want to have kind of a barrier-free communication between all of us, and we want to use the spring smile of email for cross-cultural and cross-border communication, so that more people can understand Oriental culture. And finally, I've brought with me the AR program of email, and you're welcome to scan the QR code. On the left side is for the overseas guests. On the right, it is for domestic guests. So you can use your WeChat and other applications to scan the QR code, and then you can activate the AR interaction.
Thank you, Mr. Jia. It's such a beautiful reminder that art doesn't need walls, it needs people, and creativity is at its most powerful when it's shared. We really appreciate your story. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Gonzalez, let me bring you in. So over the years, you've been mobilizing European youth to take on climate actions through creativity. I mean, talk to us more about it. How our youth in Europe take on issues such as climate change through the creative economy? Can you share with us one or two cases that really bring this to life?
Yeah, of course. So in the European example, I like to say that the creative economy is not just digital, but it's very much physical. And that we can see that the evolution of the digital economy really comes through the physical infrastructure that we put in place. And it can have a dual role when it comes to fighting climate change. So I'll give a few examples from some cities that I know best, being Spanish, and also thinking that it's relevant to a Chinese example, given that Spain and China share a lot of similarities in their 20th century history. Both had civil wars, both had large post-war economic booms, a large movement of people from the countryside to the cities in the 20th century. And now a fun fact is that both actually rank in the top 2 of the largest rail infrastructures in the world for high-speed rail, with China being the first in the world and Spain being second in terms of kilometers. Both of these are great examples of helping to fight climate change with physical infrastructure, but it's also a great way of connecting people together, which is kind of the point that I'm getting to with the creation of a youth culture. In Spain, we have 2 really good examples of urban renewal and how they have really done a lot to improve the quality of life for people in these cities. The first is Barcelona, which used the opportunity it had in the 1990s to host the Olympics to really revitalize its urban core, to expand its tourism sector, the public infrastructure, the metro, etc. In the 2010s, it also implemented more sustainable walking programs, making the city more urban friendly, making it easier to walk, reducing the number of cars in the city center, making it so that there's less pollution in the environment. And young people have really responded well to it. Barcelona now attracts talent from all across Europe, from all across the world. It's top 5 hub in Europe for technological development. The energy is very young, very vibrant. And it's actually a home now to one of Europe's largest startups, eustartups.com, which helps host the annual EU Startups Summit in Malta. So it's really put the city on the map, and it's something that a city like Beijing then mirrored in 2008 with its hosting of the Olympics. The other is Bilbao, which used to be in the 1980s a post-industrial city that had a high degree of poverty, a high degree of crime, and they really decided to revitalize the urban core as part of a project to improve the city, especially for young people. They did this by convincing a branch of the Guggenheim, famously, to open in the city, and that really helped to revitalize a lot of the energy in the core of the city. And that's also something that's been mirrored overseas by our friends in the UAE when they managed to get a branch of the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. The city's been completely transformed, revitalized, and it's just completely different from what it was 40 years ago. So I think that both of these are good steps in the right direction, as you mentioned. It helps with the fight of climate change, it helps reduce pollution, but it also helps revitalize urban centers in such a way that young people can be the creators of a new culture, of a new economy, and be the owners of their own future.
Absolutely, young people can become creators, and when they channel their urgency into creativity, they don't just raise awareness, they build economies of hope, and that is the architecture for the future. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us, Mr. Gonzalez. Now, Ms. Duan, over to you. So the Pinghe packaging factory you oversee dates back to 1905. Wow, that is 100 years, more than a century's history under one roof. How did you turn that old factory into a creative hub? What drew designers and artists there, and what kept them thriving?
Just like our MC mentioned, Pinghe Packing House, established in 1905. From Old Hankou district, the most representative packing house, there was molded red bricks, the retro swallow style steel beams, and old cargo slide, special historical imprints of our old factory. Of course, these historical imprints are quite popular elements among young generations nowadays. Therefore, when it comes to the space, the first thing we do is to restore the history of our space and leave room for our creativity. So when we started the renovation, we tried to restore and retain the original structure of the old factory building, such as the tall space, good lighting, and many retro design features, combined with the preferences of modern young people and office demands, commercial complex demands, functions and so on. For example, the transparent glass dome, the green lounge, and many of the minimalist modern lines at the entrance of the park. All these designs, in the combination of rough old industry buildings, a little bit rustic style, naturally fit the taste of young people, especially creators. Second, the second thing we did for the space was when the park opened, we matched the format that could adapt to the space, namely introduce cultural and technological innovation industries inside. After nearly 8 years of operation, we have managed to attract nearly 100 to 200 startup teams and projects located in our park, particularly in the industry of creative design, art and culture, fashion, digital creativity. We found that when people with the same, perhaps, creativity come together, they not only work here, but also create many meaningful things together. So we grow with them and create more opportunities for them to grow, to empower them. So throughout the process, we're able to provide them with services they need, for example, the resources they needed, matchmaking, alignment, and to organize events for them, and international exchanges, salons, and so on. Throughout which, we're able to see that more and more young people join us, and they continue to inject new momentum into the growth of this particular park. This is the second thing we did. The third thing we did is enable our space to attract more public. Although 80% of the park are office spaces, but for many of the office spaces nowadays, in terms of management, for us, that because we have so many projects available for creativity, and we saw those creators have great products, so we hopefully can attract public through this. We want the public to see these great products created by them. So throughout the process, we have hosted at regular events, for example, salons, scene events. Throughout the process, we are able to build bridges
for the products of the park to enter the public sphere and to attract more creators from the public to join us as well. So this is a two-way interaction. So through the three things we did, this packing factory renewal definitely is a great way to really empower the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A 1905 factory humming with fresh ideas. Hope we could have the opportunity to visit sometime. I love it. You didn't demolish history, you recharged it. Now, Yan, over to you. You come from France, and you now call China home. You call Jingdezhen home. Tell us about your journey. How did it all begin? What happens when French design meets Chinese ceramic traditions? And is there a piece of porcelain that really served as a bridge across cultures for you?
Yes, it's totally possible. As a French artist, researcher, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Boursemin, a Sino-French porcelain design company established in both France and China, I have witnessed how the creative economy can become a powerful platform for cultural dialogue, innovation, and mutual development. At Boursemin, we promote porcelain not only as a product, but as a cultural bridge. China, as a birthplace of porcelain, possesses a millennial heritage that continues to inspire creators worldwide. As Jingpiao entrepreneurs living and working in Jingdezhen, we are deeply grateful for the support and welcome we have received from the local community. Through collaboration with artists, master artisans, craftsmen, researchers, and institutions, we develop porcelain products that combine contemporary design with respect for cultural heritage. This experience has led us to an important observation. Consumers are no longer purchasing objects alone. They increasingly engage with the stories, traditions, knowledge, and people behind what they buy. In this context, cultural products become vehicles for exchange, enabling individuals to connect with different histories, values, and way of life. Our works reflect this evolution. The forms, decoration, function, and narratives developed by Boursemin emerge from continuous exchanges between France and Chinese cultural perspective. Because our creative activities take place in both countries, these influences arise through lived experience and collaboration rather than interpretation alone. In this sense, our customers become participants in an ongoing intercultural dialogue. Over time, we have observed how design can inspire cultural curiosity and people-to-people exchanges. French clients regularly express a desire to visit China and learn more about its ceramic heritage, while Chinese customers often tell us they wish to discover France and its artistic traditions. We see similar dynamics in everyday cultural practices. Chinese tea culture and traditional tea rituals are attracting growing interest in France, while aspects of French coffee culture are increasingly appreciated in China. These developments illustrate the willingness of younger generations to engage authentically with culture beyond their own. As creative entrepreneurs, we have a responsibility to facilitate these exchanges with accuracy, respect, and long-term commitment. This is one reason why I am pursuing doctoral research at Jingdezhen Ceramic University, focusing on porcelain history, design, and cultural exchange. Academic research helps us ensure the narrative knowledge and collaboration we share remain grounded in a rigorous understanding of heritage while responding to contemporary social and cultural realities. For young entrepreneurs, moving from consumer to co-creator means building ecosystems in which creativity, culture, and innovation are developed collectively. It means transforming cultural heritage from a static legacy into a living resource that fosters collaboration, mutual learning, and sustainable opportunities for future generations. Through openness, shared creativity, and cross-cultural cooperation, creative industries can contribute not only to economic development, but also to greater mutual understanding between communities and nations. In doing so, they help us build a more connecting world and a more inclusive creative economy.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Yang. Now, over to you, Mr. Liu. You've spent 15 years building U+ International Youth Community, and you once said You can rent a house, but you cannot rent a life. Tell us more about it. How did it all begin? How did neighbors become co-creators?
非常感谢主持人，感谢大会的领导。
Thank you very much.
我叫刘洋，是
My name is
优家
Liu
国
Yang.
际青年社区的创始人。在中国呢
I'm from
，15 年前
Community.
我做了中国第一
About
个
15 years ago,
专
I
属给
started the
青年
very
人居住在一起
first
的社区
residential。area and a
那么，
community
随着
for
中国的
use.
城市化发展，
With the
在
urbanization of
15 年
China,
前的时候，
about
中
15
国的
years
所有
ago,
的很多地方的年轻人都会，包括海归，
many
都会
local
涌入到北
youths
上广
and
主力的发展
overseas
的经济城市。
youths
那么这个时候，
would
我
move
们
to
整个这个
Beijing,
市场需
Shanghai,
要一
Guangzhou,
个
these
特
major
别
cities for
好
life.
的能把年轻人聚
It
合在一
seems we need
起，
better
像
ways
今
to
天这
really
样，
gather
有全
youth,
球
to
各
attract
国的
youth,
各
just
各
like
种出
today,
色
we're
的
gathered by
年轻人
young
在中
talents
国
around the，
他
world
们需
here
要
in
快
China.
速的去进
They
行
need to
更
very
深度的
quickly
交流和连接，
to
同时
exchange
要找到一个
ideas,
特别
to
好的
connect
平台。
themselves, to
那
find
么
a big
我当时的
platform,
想法是
a community.
觉得
What I
人
was
和人之
thinking back
间
then was that
无论是
between
中
any
国人
human
还
being,
是
no
我
matter
们
for
国际化的
Chinese or
友人，
international
他们如何能连接
friends,
在一起？最重
how
要
to
的
connect
是
them
让他们
together.
高频
The
的、
most important
平等
seems
的
to
在一起，
provide an
互相的
equal
有
space
创造更多的
for
交流
them
的场
to
景，像今天
exchange
这样。
ideas, to
所以
talk
当
with
年我
each
就
other.
想
Therefore,
如果只是做一
I came up
个
with the
大会
idea.
或者做一个社群，大家在一起的时间和精力和了解是不够的，所以我就以
Maybe
居住
1 or
场景
2
为一个
days
基
is
础
not
的
enough to get to
界
know
面。
each other. That's
大
why
家
I
都
want
住
to
在
create a
整栋楼
community,
的
a
楼上，
residential
然后
area
我
where
们这个
people
楼里面有
live
很多
with
个
each
空
other on a
间
daily
是提供
basis.
给大
Therefore,
家
there are
去
more
共享，
opportunities for shared
然后
ideas.
更多的交
And
流
there are，shared spaces as
里面
well.
可以一起做饭，一起生活，
So
一
people
起
can
喝咖
cook
啡，一起
together,
打
you
桌
can have
球，
coffee
一起
together,
看电
you
影
can play
一
billiards
起
together, you
这
can
个酒
watch
吧
movies
聊天
together,
那
but
这
simply
个产
talk
品
in a
推出
bar
来之后
together.
呢，
So
这
after
个14
the
年的
launching
时
of
候
this product,
也是昨
and
天大
in
会的这个雷
2014,
军小米的雷军总的重仓投了我们。
we have got the investment from the speaker yesterday, Lei Jun, the CEO of Xiaomi. They gave us a great opportunity and funding for better development. Now we have had branches in 9 cities, and tens of thousands of users are living in U plus apartments. So the reason why it has been well received can be seen in the fact that we can facilitate marriages with more than 100 couples getting their marriage licenses because of their stay in the U plus apartments. So we also have offline communities for entrepreneurial opportunities. You can find partners that you desire, and also in the past, when starting a business, we always say that we rarely have people who can fight alongside with you, a close partner that can have the same mind with you. And the U Plus, what we are building right now is building a kind of a field. That is, we have screens, all fun people and fun things who stay in the same city with you, who is very strongly entrepreneurial minded. So they have a very good living environment and also a great interface where people of different backgrounds can come together. You can forget the fatigue in the day, and you can have your free flow of energy in the evening. So in the U Plus apartments, over the years, we have also facilitated thousands of teams for entrepreneurship. So in the background of China's initiative for entrepreneurship, we are a gathering place for startups. And also a lot of designers in movies, TVs, IT. We share a very free atmosphere for creation. Everybody is equal and mutually beneficial here. We can open up to each other. Since we're staying together, we regard U Plus apartments as our homes, and you will have close and friendly neighbors there. You can have a lot of communication, and in this process, you are also nourished by other people through this communication. When you have confusion, you will have somebody to answer your questions. When you are enjoying the pleasure, you can share with everybody.
所以我认为这
So
件事情坚
I
持
would
15
say
年，
that
做
we
到现
stick
在，
to our
有着
work
这么好
for
的一些数
15
据和
years,
结果，
and
也
we
让
are
我很欣慰。
inspired
我们
and
今年也
gratified
会有在海
with
外
the
的
great
部署，
results.
希望有机会
Beginning
跟
from this year, we
这
will
个海
have
外的年轻朋
overseas
友们一起
plan
合作。
also.
谢谢。
We hope to work with the youth overseas.
从
Thank you for your
居住
attention.
到就
From
业、创
living
业、
to
寻求
job
交友、
creation
寻
to
找真爱、
seeking
情感支
friendship
撑，
or
这个居
seeking
住场景
marriage
提
and
供的
emotional
非常
support.
全面，
So you
非
have
常
a
感谢
very
刘总的分享，非
wide
常非常感谢。
port-
Thank you.
portfolio. Thank
Now,
you for
last but not
sharing.
least, over to you, Ms. Van. So your company breathed new life into a 300-year-old traditional paper flower making tradition there in Vietnam, which is said to be fading away. What did it take to get young Vietnamese hand back on paper and scissors? How did it happen?
10 years ago, the 300 years old traditional paper flower of Hue province of Vietnam was quietly waiting to die because it could not keep pace with the modern era. Only for left artisan remained, and no young people wanted to inherit it. So this led us to rethink how we can preserve heritage sustainably. So the answer are that instead of asking the young to simplify, admire the tradition, we invited them to join hands and to shape it. Actually, that our young designer and the remain master artisan to co-create and innovate with together, like weaving modern aesthetics into Asian techniques. So every piece keep the culture soul of Thanh Tiên while meeting today's market. Our products that carry higher value and travel across borders and tell the Vietnam story to every fold. We have widened this co-creation further through our workshop program called Making Paper Flower Bloom, which had engaged over 10,000 young people, Vietnamese young people as makers, alongside master artisans, not just audiences. Not just that, we recognize that participation need places to happen. So we have built spaces where heritage live and evolve. So the physical and digital spaces we have built for heritage to live in, like the Artisan Village in Hue, co-creation studio in our cities, showroom in Paris and Malaysia, and a digital equips of 200 Asian techniques. A space is more than a place, it's an invitation for the next co-creator to step in. Not just that, we also change our materials into sustainable materials, so our product can export to wider countries, and now we have approaching over 20 countries all around the world. So we hope that actually in many parts of the world still have craft villages waiting to bloom, waiting to be shared, to be reimagined, to be reimagined for to be shared, tell to our next generation. So we hope that our model will be like a replicable in a model for those who are facing the same problem like us. Yeah.
Fascinating. Thank you very much. And thank you for all the speakers for sharing your stories with us. Each story offered a unique perspective on co-creation. Now I would like to open the floor for our young representatives here. So feel free to share your projects with us or direct any questions to our guests on stage. Please let us know. Our staff will get you a mic. 好，我们现场有没有青年代表们想要分享他的项目，或者是对
So
我
do
们台
any
上
of
嘉
the
宾提
young
问的，可以举手示
representatives
意，我们工作
want
人
to
员会把
share
麦递
your
给你们。
experience or you
好，
want to
这
raise
边
your
这边的朋
questions
友
to the panelists? Yes, I see one here.
Good morning, everyone.
So, my name is Li Mangguo from a creative industry company in Wuhan. So, you know, a very famous product in Wuhan called Garlic Bird actually is created by my enterprise. So, we are founded in a short 1 year's time. We are a young company. So, my question and my theme is close to the theme of today. We are transiting from a consumer consumer to a co-creator. So in the first, we were the consumers for this industry, but later we found that dialect-based creative products is lacking in the market. So we have become creators, and we have seized this opportunity and expanded. And now we are among the first-tier enterprise in the dialect-based creative industry sector. So we represent not only a popular product in a particular city, we also want to make this into a persistent internet celebrity product and also a landmark product for Wuhan city. Just like Yimao mentioned earlier in the presentation, we want to represent the spirit of the Wuhan people. We want them to appear in every street and corner of the city. We will also join hands with some scenic attractions, including the Yellow Crane Tower, our museums. We are now laying out our shops and stores so that these cultural products can actually become a part of the city. So more cultural symbols can go global alongside with these cultural products and win better recognition. Thank you. So thank you for sharing. Any other representatives who want to share? Yeah, maybe.
Hello.
Should give him a microphone.
So I have a question for Mr. Auguster here. Because I am a former breaking dancer, and now I'm a music producer. I serve some music company and individual artists here, and still we have some songs represent the city of Wuhan, like Wuhan Jinsen, or just some spiritual stuff. Like we're trying to just get in touch with some different people in different industries, and still now I'm doing something like English community. This is fresh for me. I could get in touch with different people from different industries. So I wonder from your perspective that in Europe here, and then how is it that the language and the music, this is symbol iconic that we could use this tool to communicate with each other, then make it more global, and then we could learn from each other. So I just want to, I just want to get some information, from your perspective. Thanks.
Ooh, a beat boy in the house. Thank you. So this question is directed to Mr. Gonzalez. Yeah, Mr. Gonzalez. Or yes, let me get you a mic.
Can you hear me? There we go. Perfect. Thank you. So thank you very much for your question. I very much agree. That's why I mentioned the need for spaces and cities to be able to do things like this. I think that's also part of the reason why, say, university campuses in the United States are so popular. Where I went, there was actually a space for people to break dance, to be able to engage internationally with other cultures, to be able to kind of share the different themes of things that people were interested in, and that really created an international community within the university that would allow for these sorts of things to be shared. And I've noticed that increasingly in European cities, we are beginning to build these third spaces, these plazas, places where people can come, share their culture, where they can just engage in public spaces. And a lot of places in the world are still working on finding a way of getting to that sort of infrastructure, which is why my big theme was, in order to create the next digital infrastructure, the next cultures of the future, we actually need to provide the physical infrastructure, the spaces for people to meet. We have fantastic online communities, and the internet's done wonders for the world, but at the end of the day, if people aren't there in person, it's very hard for these exchanges to really take place. I think we all noticed that during the pandemic, where we were all online, and Zoom was a fantastic opportunity to still be able to engage, but we all really longed for that in-person interaction. And I think that we're slowly moving towards those types of dynamic people-first cities.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. All right, yeah, we still have time? We still have time for one more? One more, yes, yes, please. 这位朋友，谢谢。
Hello, I got one question for Mr. Jiang Heng. I like the graffiti art very much, and thank you very much for making the city more beautiful and interesting. I'm just curious that have you ever suffered any difficulties when you do the graffiti, like from the urban management, something like that? And how did you solve the problems? Thank you.
That's a good question. 这个问题是在问您在
我再说一遍。
sure.
抱歉啊，就是我特别喜欢涂鸦艺术哈，但是我就是
I like graffiti art very much, but I'm curious about the possible challenges and barriers you have had, for example, from the urban management. Because I believe that urban graffiti is very good. It can make the cities more beautiful and more interesting. Can you share with us the obstacles you have had for our efforts? So at the very beginning, I would consider everything went quite smoothly because we began in Xipan Chessboard Street around the Hubei Institute of Fine Arts. It has a very good atmosphere. So people accepted this and received this very greatly, and I've also tried to communicate with the youth league committee of the municipality. So the key is communication here. Communication leads to the win-win result. In the earlier stage, we were in the period of the cultural creativity promotional period. So we have also worked with some international teams. So with all these connections we have made, we were greatly supported by the government, actually. Thank you very much. Thank you for the question.
Our segment. Thank you very much. Many thanks to our guests for sharing your stories and analysis and perspective. And thank you for listening. So we hope this forum is just the beginning, and every spark of creativity could find its echo. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to hand things back to Mr. Li Juelong for your next segment. Thank you.